Hello and welcome back. Recently we have recorded the first episode of the OpenSuspect Podcast, and I wanted to show you a short clip of that conversation that we had there, and if you are interested, go to the OpenSuspect YouTube page and subscribe there if you want to be notified when the new episodes are coming up. So take a listen and enjoy. So what's your favorite programming languages? If it's not Java.
I'm gonna have to say JavaScript. JavaScript is nice.
It's easier than Java or even CoffeeScript.
I've heard of CoffeeScript. Is that like one of those JavaScript compiler thingies?
Yes, it's like simple JavaScript. So basically, I've seen that they try to make JavaScript easier.
Huh.
So what do you like about JavaScript that much? That it's your favorite?
There are so many programs that could execute it. Just browsers can execute it. Actually, my favorite is Python. It's easy to interpret.
That's what I was gonna say. Python is... I'm not as familiar with Python as I'd like to be, but every time I use it, it's just so nice because it's so easy.
Yeah.
And you can do anything with it with just a library.
It has so many libraries.
Like Heto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or a simple HTTP server. Or even an IRC server made with it. There's so many possibilities. There's even some frameworks based on it, like Django.
Yeah.
Python is a very versatile and useful language.
Yeah, I first heard of Python, I think either in high school or right after high school. And so I studied Pascal. When I was in high school, we learned programming in Pascal, which is a very old language. And I learned a little C. But when I saw Python, I was like, what is up with the indentation? Why don't you just have some character to signify the start and end of blocks? I was like, this is stupid. So I didn't use that. But yeah, I agree. I picked up Python like maybe 3 years ago to do some personal projects, which I previously done in Microsoft Excel using Visual Basic scripts.
Huh.
And so I learned about the Pandas library. That's a very nice kind of relational database substitute, I guess. That's what I use nowadays. And I have to agree, it's really versatile. Like so many libraries and very easy to get used to it.
Yeah. Actually, I really like GDScript. I mean, it's not that versatile because it's built into Godot, but it's really nice to write in because it's got Python's simplicity, but it's got a lot of functions that are more like JavaScript.
Oh, I see. It's
also interesting because it'll support the string with a capital S function the way JavaScript does, but it also supports str like Python, and they do the same thing. Mostly I just like declaring variables with var.
Yeah, that's so cool. That reminds me of my Pascal days.
Python declaring variables without a keyword is so weird. That's the weirdest thing to me about Python.
Yeah, that's true. That's a little strange.
Also, when you loop through an array, or a list, I guess they call it, when you say I in list, I is not going to be a number, it's going to be that item. And that confused me. Oh,
yeah. What is really strange to me is this came up actually in the last OpenSuspect PR, that when you have if you have just a very simple variable, maybe a number, a string, whatever, and you just make another variable equal to that. So A equals 2 and then B equals A.
Yeah.
That's kind of, we can, these are just two variables that contain the same number, but once I change one of them, then maybe I say B equals B plus 1 or something like that, then of course B will be increased, but A will stay the same.
Yes.
But if you have declare A as an array or a dictionary, and then you make B equals A, then the variables will be pointing to the same dictionary. So if you change an element inside the dictionary or in B, then it will be changed in A too. But if you tell B just to assign a different dictionary to it, then of course this will be disconnected from each other. And that can, if you don't if you are not careful thinking about this all the time, then some very weird things can happen.
Yeah, why?
And that is the same in Python and GDScript.
It's also that way in JavaScript. It's just, why? Why? I don't know. You just learn to deal with it, I guess.
Yeah.
Also.
Yeah, so that's why I always, like, when there is something like this, I always go through in debugging mode and just every step I just take a look at the variables, what's going on.
Yeah.
Just cannot predict easily.
Have it print every 2 lines.
Yeah. I mean, the debugger in Godot is really good. I really like that.
Yeah, it does. I mean, occasionally there are errors that don't make sense, but usually you get what's going on. I think it'd be nice if Godot had like a console the way the browser does, but I don't know how you would make that work because each node has its own script, so it's kind of...
Yeah.
But it would be useful if they could.
And it's always like a mystery, like in what order will the scripts be executed. So
yeah,
especially in a project like OpenSuspect, we have so many different scripts, like 7 or 8 auto-load scripts, and then whatever is in the current scene.
Yeah.
And sometimes I just like go through like step by step, and I'm just wondering where the hell are we coming from and where the hell are we going.
We need to make like a flowchart of all of the scripts and their connections. I mean, it'd be really hard.
Yeah,
there's just so much.
I did that for like joining and starting the game for like to optimize the customization synchronizations. But so just by looking at the code, I was unable to do the flowchart. So I literally had to step through the debugger and see like what is the order of things, because the order of things was very important to do things in the right order. So the variable, when you need that, is already there. It's been already synced.
Yeah, it's slightly confusing.